Welcome to the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District, December 11th, school board meeting, regular school board meeting. Mr. Bazar?
Here.
Mr. Cabral?
Here.
Mrs. Hurst? Here. Mr. Reeves?
Here.
And Mrs. Conforti's here. We're all present. Next, it's part of the organizational meeting. We need an election of a board member, election for this president of this governing board. May I have a nomination?
I'd like to motion to nominate Don Cabral for school board president.
May I have a?
Is there,
Are there any other?
yes, I would
Can-
like to make a motion to nominate Janice Conforti.
Okay, I'm gonna second Mr. Reeves' motion.
Okay, so that was Frank. Tim. Okay, so we have now Mr. Cabral, you are now. No,
No, you
have to take a vote. Okay, Mr. Bazar? What?
I think we're voting on the motion, which is that Mr. Cabral will serve as the school board president. Is that
Okay,
correct?
Mr. Cabral?
No, I haven't voted yet. I
Oh,
was asking if
sorry.
that's what.
Yes, that's what we're voting on.
I'm gonna vote aye.
Mr. Cabral?
All right.
Mrs. Hurst?
Nay.
Mr. Reeves?
Aye.
Okay, and Mrs. Conforti votes nay. Mr. Cabral is now the new president, so good luck, you know?
Right.
Do I get- Oh, I keep, okay. We need a clerk for the governing board. I nominate Mrs. Hurst.
I'd like to nominate Frank Reeves for clerk of the board.
I'll-
Miss.
I'm gonna second Mr. Cabral's motion.
Okay. Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Nay.
Mr. Reeves,
Aye.
and Mrs. Conforti votes nay. So we now have two new.
I still haven't voted, but I'm gonna vote.
Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry.
That's all right.
Tim, would you like to vote?
Yeah, I
I
do.
wrote
Aye.
down. So I have a motion to have Mr. Reeves as the clerk, and it's been seconded. May I have a second?
Everybody.
There was a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, we voted 3-2. Okay, elect trustee representative of the governing board. Who would like to nominate a trustee?
I would like to nominate Tim Bazar.
Is there? Okay,
There has to be.
I would like to second it.
You seconded it? Okay.
Mr. Bazar,
Sure, yes, aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Reeves,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. It's passed 5-0. Appoint interim superintendent as secretary of the governing board. That would be Mr. Philpott at the present time. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Philpott as interim superintendent secretary of the government board.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Reeves,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Passes 5-0.
Okay.
Select standing committee. We need someone for the LCAP. May I have a motion? We need 2 people.
2 people. I make a motion that we have, Mr. Cabral and Mr. Reeves as the LCAP committee. Is that right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you two.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Reeves.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes 5-0. The 2+2, how are we haven't had a meeting in a long time. But we will.
part of the dilemma has been is that, Mr. Hupland hasn't been available, so, as soon as that, I would say probably in January,
Yeah.
there might, we'll try to get one there together.
I make a motion that, we have, Mr. Bazaar and Mr. Cabral. I'm 2+2.
I'll second that.
This is Mr.
Are you asking for a
Mr.
vote?
Bazaar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passes 5-0. Approved calendar of the board meetings, and that was, it's on the green paper. May I have a motion to approve the school board calendar
I'll make a motion that we approve the calendar of the school board meetings for 2024.
Okay,
and a second? I'll second it.
okay.
Okay, Mr. Bazaar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, pass 5-0.
Can,
Uh,
can I
yes.
ask a question?
Yes,
Generally, we would have met on the 8th of January for our first meeting next year. And I have no objection to the 22nd. Oh, is
has
there,
to do with our vacation.
it doesn't?
Yes, and then the next day is the next Monday is Martin Luther King.
Okay.
So that's why it's the 22nd.
Now I understand. Thank you.
We have a self-evaluation to do. And Nancy said she could put it online or you can do it by paper, and she requests that she have it in by January 12th, so it can be reported out on January 22nd. January 12th.
All right.
Yes. Okay, review of the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District Governance Handbook. One of the things I think we should do once all of this and the new superintendent is that we have a workshop on the handbook. Rose and I and Tim have had quite a few of them, but our new people have not.
Okay.
So you might want to consider that before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the parts that I feel is really important, what under effective trustees is bullet number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Commits the time and energy necessary to be an informed and effective leader. That means you've got lots of meetings to attend
Mhm.
and go to in school. Things. And the other part is understand that authority rests with the board as a whole, not one person. And I think if we have a workshop on it, would be good to, it would help.
And then they, of course, need to deal with them.
Yeah, we have to deal with the front page, the superintendent and the revisions and.
Yeah.
So it would be a good idea to go through and see if you have any questions,
Or additions or anything.
like under leadership, operate with honesty and integrity. And building, under meetings and norms. Build upon the ideas of others and look for common ground.
So do we want to say?
The
Yeah,
best thing, would be is anything that any changes you want to make or any input that any of you have, I would suggest maybe you email those to Nancy. And then she'll
Okay.
combine it and try to give you some adjustments to it so you can take a look at it in January.
Thank you. Okay. Public communication, closed session items. Any member of the audience desiring to comment on a closed session item may do so when the board president asks for public comments. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. May I please have Christy Diaz?
Always have to bring this down, sorry.
Yeah. Short people.
Sure, people problems. So my name is Chrissy Diaz. I am just a parent of the community. I wasn't here last Monday. I don't remember my days. I was in here last week. I once again am pleading. I keep on seeing interim superintendents. I know I've been attending the last several meetings, and we paid a company to help us sort through the candidacies and all of that. So where's you guys held interviews and everything else. So my question is, are we going to finally hire a superintendent? Or are we going to continue to, I don't know, kind of feels like there's a delay for personal agendas? And I'm starting to feel like, I don't know if it's the school board itself or it's the district itself, but it's starting to really seem that there are more personal vindictive agendas getting put in place instead of what's best for our community, what's best for our students, what's best for our staff. So we paid a company to figure out who our best candidate is. You guys held the interviews. Let's get a superintendent put in place. Mr. Philpott, I appreciate you and I thank you for coming out of retirement and doing an amazing job, but I know that your time is limited and you're not able to continue to stay fulfilling that position. So I'm saying, can we please stop putting our district at jeopardy? That's all. Honestly, it seems like everything is just going haywire, from school sites, from internal district office, from site to school board itself. I'm exhausted of seeing personal agendas put at the forefront instead of doing what's right for our district office. Regardless of, like, once again, whatever you guys decide, I hope it is what's best for our community. It's what's best for our district. Once again, whether we agree with it or not, we all need to be unified and come together and be unified for our district. I'm sick and tired of seeing a divide. I'm sick and tired of seeing team A and team B, because that's what it really is. Regardless of whether you guys want to admit it, regardless if you guys don't want to see it, on the outside looking in, that's exactly what it is. So can we please stop playing games, stop putting personal agendas, stop putting, honestly, starting to look more like egos and vendettas are getting put in place, and instead of just doing what's right for a community. I'm tired of it. I sit in the back every single school board meeting that I can attend. I stay quietly as much as possible, but I'm getting tired. And I have no problem gathering my group of people to show up and start speaking out if that's what I need to do. Let's stop dragging our feet and put someone in place that's going to do the job that our district needs. Please. I'm tired of seeing the interim superintendent. We paid a company to do their job. Now let's do our job and get someone in place.
Thank you. We are doing that, and we have some procedural processes that
Yeah,
have to
honestly,
be complete.
it doesn't seem like. I apologize. but honestly,
That's fine. Thank you. Mr. Hardy Reeves.
Just to double check, Edward, we're being recorded and the microphone's all working on like last week. Okay, just checking. Good afternoon. Most of you know me. I'm Hardy Reeves. I'm a teacher for the district, but I'm also a parent as well. My daughter graduated from West Stimba last year, and my son is currently a freshman. Coming in front of you today will undoubtedly put me in danger of retaliation by individuals in the district office and school board, at least two of them. Just know that unlike those individuals, I am ready to say this in the open in front of people and know that we are being recorded. Unlike last Tuesday that allowed individuals to leave their offices and come to make public statements against another employee during their work hours. Luckily for the public, we had a very concerned citizen, Christy, here who saw and heard everything and could not believe how truly vile that was. My father always said that when you point a finger at someone, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. I've been quiet for fear of retaliation. As I talk today, know that I should have said something sooner. And I had. I told you, Janice, 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
The book fair.
No. Back to school day, when we were all at YOLO, but you failed to listen. So Kim Betancourt, Carolyn Mendoza, Kim Mendonca, and Lupe Robles have created a toxic environment in this district. One of distrust, fear of retaliation if we say anything against them, and of lying to keep their positions. Vanessa Cron also showed up spewing toxicity, which is not a surprise since that is what she did while she was at Stimba for 6 weeks. Last week, the board heard the lies and finger pointings of individuals trying to manipulate the board not to hire Justin Pruitt. Why? Because they know that they cannot manipulate him, as they have done with so many other superintendents and board members, and are currently doing so to 2 of the city board members. Why do I tell you this now? I've been quiet because I was too afraid for my job and the programs I run and what would happen to them if I spoke out against these individuals, especially with the old board that they had under the complete control. Tonight on the board agenda, it states that you are supposed to be appointing another interim superintendent during closed session. If you are to choose an interim superintendent that isn't Randy Philpott, then there is only one assistant superintendent in the district that holds the qualifications for that position, and that is Justin Pruitt. And I know you already have given me a dirty look, and I don't care. Kim Betancourt has already taught, don't talk to me. Kim Betancourt has already taught
I
at the lower,
believe you're
stop.
over your 3
I am
minutes.
not.
If you're going to
Kim
Bible people.
Kim
you're over.
Betancourt has only taught at the lower elementary levels and has barely had any administrator experience, and that is again limited to elementary.
Would you?
Carolyn has no educational experience in the classroom at all. She's never been a teacher nor an administrator. Justin has been a teacher and an administrator at the elementary, junior high, high school, and alternative education levels, leaving each campus better than it was before he came to it. Rather than announcing an intern superintendent, the board should just be announcing the newest superintendent, with the only correct announcement being that Justin Pruitt will be taking that position and given the directive to clean out the waste at the district office level. Thank you.
How did you know he was a candidate? That was supposed to be secret. That means somebody let out who was that.
Mrs. Conforti,
Yes,
I don't know why you are trying to be little Miss Gotcha right now,
I'm not little Miss Gotcha.
because
Don't
it
call
came
me
from you.
names. No,
Yes, ma'am.
no, thank you. You.
No.
had your time. I'm leaving.
Yes, it was said last Tuesday. Thank you for having Christy here for the recording, since nobody at the
Had
district
a
recorded it.
closed session, which was not.
No, ma'am.
supposed to be.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am, you are trying to cover yourself as well.
No, we only have, we're going to close session. It's now,
It's gonna be the same.
4:47.
4:47.
Mhm.
What's your name, sir? Gavin? Hayden. So we have Gavin Hayden here from Barracks Elementary. That's gonna lead us in the flag salute. So if everybody please stand for this flag. Whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, a couple things to report out of closed session. First one is item A, fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review, case number 2324-02. Motion by board member Bazar and seconded by board member Cabral is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 24135 from all schools in the district for violation of educational code 48915A. Student number 24135 shall be expelled from the school or the district for the remainder of the fall and spring semester for the 23-24 school year. It is further recommended that student 24135 may apply for enrollment in the Newman Crozetta Unified School District at the beginning of the 24-25 school year. All board members were in favor, the motion carried 5-0. Item B, fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative case review in case number 2324-03. Motion by board member Hurst and seconded by board member Cabral. It is moved that the Board of Education find there's cause to expel student 37360 from all schools in the district for violation of the Educational Code EC 48915A and EC 48900A. Student number 37360 shall be expelled for the remainder of the fall semester for the 23 and 24 school year and the spring semester of the 23-24. However, student 37360 expulsion order shall be suspended and placed on probationary status so long as they adhere with the terms of the rehabilitation plan. Motion carries 5-0, all in favor. Item number C, closed session, as the board has determined to continue the services of Mr. Philpott as interim superintendent until January 2022 of 2023. Motion by Tim Bazar, second by Don Cabral. All board members favored 5-0. Oh, 24, I'm sorry, 24. All right, public communication, agenda, and non-agenda items. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step up to the podium, state your name. It would be appreciated. You would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits school board from taking action on any matter which is not a post-agenda item unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. At this time, was there anybody of the public that would like to step up to the podium and speak to the board? All right, seeing none. All right, item number 9, approval of the agenda.
I'd make a motion. Moving the agenda.
Thanks, sir. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Reeves,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Passes 5-0. Information and discussion items. Our student report from Ms. Grace Studer.
This year, Oristimba is hosting their first ever holiday tree competition. Each class can make the trees on Friday, December 15th and Monday, December 18th. The voting will be held at the girls' basketball game on December 19th, where the trees will be placed in the lobby next to the voting box so everyone can cast their vote for the best tree. NAMI is having Christmas at the Convalescent on December 16th. The Warrior Pride Club will be going ice skating in Turlock on December 19th. The Ag Department will be going to the swap meet at the Turlock Fairgrounds, January 27th and 28th. The Ag Department will also be taking students who are interested to a welding workshop at Butte College, January 17th to the 19th. There will be an FFA officer retreat and workday, January 8th. FFA will also be having a public speaking contest known as the Sectional Super Day at Turlock High School on January 17th. A junior at Oristimba High School, Patricio Kearney, recently qualified for cross-country sections where he received an honorable mention for breaking in a sub-17, which is running 3.1 miles in less than 17 minutes. He won the Southern League by a whole 2 minutes and placed 44th out of 206 runners at the Kim Dest Invitational. The OHS Drama Club will be having their winter showcase filled with short scenes and monologues on Thursday, December 14th inside the YOLO cafeteria. Doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7. Admission is free.
Thank you. All right, item B, attendance awards. Mr. Gonzalez, floor is yours.
Favorite part of my Mondays, my board meetings. We have, looks like we have, for our ADA and least chronically absent, we have a return champ from last month, Von Renner. And for our staff attendance, we have Barrington. Thank you.
All right, item C, we have our middle school spelling bee.
Are you guys gonna come up in front?
Yeah. They here?
They are here, yeah. I don't know if you wanna sign up first.
Are we gonna stand up here?
Yeah. All right, well, tonight I have the honor of presenting to you our YOLO students that participated in our county spelling bee. Our sixth grade participant was Raudel Rubalcaba. I also want to add that Raudel came straight from sixth grade camp to his competition and he did an amazing job, so. Taylor Harden. And another seventh grader, Rosalind Garcia.
Item D, we have a retirement. Ms. Mendoza will take us for that.
Good evening. Yuba Rolacek came to work in nutrition services back in 2011. But I've known her a lot longer than that, since her daughters Christine and Claire were at Orsimba. She was a really great parent volunteer back then. She started at Barrington, I believe, when they opened. And she's moved on later to YOLO, and she does everything that needs to be done. She works summers driving the food truck, making sure students were fed even when classes are out. She took especially good care of our families as well on her own, making sure the kids had food and clothes, especially out at Campfish Camp. Since moving over to YOLO, she took over the senior feeding program, and they love it. I want to thank Yuba for her years of dedicated service and wish her all the best in her new chapters, spending time with her beloved family. Yuba?
All right, item E, Von Renner Construction Elementary Project Update, Mr. Jonathan Gish.
Good evening. Members of the board, Mr. Philpott and Carolyn asked me to come out and give a quick update on the construction of the Von Ritter building, which is just outside our window right here. We are well under construction. If you've been watching over the last couple of weeks, things have really started to take shape. These are a couple of pictures from a week or so ago where you can begin to see the building taking form. The first picture is standing, looking out through the highlighted glass. It isn't there yet, of course. And a couple other pictures of inside the cafeteria area, which is well over twice the size of what you currently have. So this building will continue to change quite a bit over the next couple of months as they put the roof on it and all the walls. You'll see a lot of change through February, and then things will settle down for a while as the work begins to occur on the inside of the building. And then the next explosion of work, if you will happen in June when the kids leave. And this building is scheduled to be occupied by July 15th of next year. So admin will have time to move in before they start the school year. The other building that is involved is the existing admin building. And that one, the classrooms that we're working in, which are shown here in a gray tan, those are being completely abated and renovated for transitional kindergarten rooms. Those will be ready for the start of school. And then the existing admin area, which you're seeing kind of like a purple crosshatch on, will be ready possibly a little bit after the start of school. The contractor has hedged a little bit on whether or not that portion of the building will be ready due to the abatement issues in the existing office. Are there any questions on?
We're we on schedule, like no setbacks, like for it to be completed, or I know with the pool we had setbacks, so.
Yes, yes. The project is supposed to be done per contract. I believe the contract date is 8/9, and they're projecting to be done 8/30. So there's a little bit of calculated risk from the contractor that they think they will have justifiable delays. And so when we get to about mid-June, there will be an assessment of whether they want to kind of man up and get the job done on time, or if they're willing to risk liquidated damages and go a little bit into the school year. What we've communicated to them is that by mid-July, you have to have the admin open and operational. And the classrooms also have to be, it's completely non-negotiable on that part. If they have minor punch list items and things that can continue on, it's undesirable, but there's a fine line for us to walk in how hard we push them. If we push them too hard and they begin to take qualitative cuts, basically behind our back, or begin to spend a lot of time looking for delays, it actually has a counterproductive. So we are requiring them to provide a weekly schedule that has basically, it's a 3-week short window to make sure that they stay on schedule. Right now, they're roughly 2 weeks behind the original schedule.
Anybody else have anything? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item F, Heard Barrington Elementary School Spotlight, Ms. Van Ruler, would you like to come on up?
Good evening. This evening, we are excited to share with you some highlights happening at Hurd Barrington Elementary. We started off the year to boost our student engagement with attendance. Mrs. Dollywall and myself addressed the importance of attendance with parents at back to school night. Attendance every day counts and is celebrated at HBE through daily posters posted on classroom doors for 100% attendance for that day, weekly shout outs school-wide for attendance, monthly extra recess. At the end of the trimester, students who have 100% attendance earn a pizza party. Academic achievements. We are academically preparing our students in the area of reading, writing, math, and science. Based on the second diagnostic whole school annual typical growth is 48% in math and 50% in reading. Certificates are awarded to students by the teacher when typical growth has been met. Parent engagement opportunities, ice cream social at the beginning of the school year, which allow parents to meet the teacher. We have a fall carnival, second cups of coffee for parents, ELAC meetings, and parent-teacher conferences. Student engagement opportunities through student engagement monthly assemblies, recognizing students for exhibiting the character traits of the month. Fifth grade participated in a community service project, collecting donations for the animal shelter in Newman. Future Chef, students participated in that. And coming up this next month in January, we have Great Kindness Week full of events for students to participate in. Counseling. Mrs. Hernandez does school-wide class lessons, school-wide assemblies, lunch bunch groups, individual counseling, monthly fun recess activities, student council, monthly mental health events in collaboration with Stanislaus County Office of Ed, monthly informational bulletin boards around campus, collaboration with all stakeholders with admin, staff, parent engagement, second cup of coffee, school site council, and ELAC. Coming soon is college and career awareness lessons and events for all our students. FIT Award. Custodians John Cruikshanks and Delmar Oliveira have worked really hard maintaining the school and buildings at HBE. And next is our student council. I'd like to introduce student council members, Hayden Hansen, Noel Pimentel, Christian Votano, and Gavin Lane.
Hold down, bud. Hold down first. There you go.
Makes me feel taller. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District School Board. Thank you for your service to this community, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Gavin Lane, and I'm the president at Hurd Barrington Elementary School, home of the Eagles. I'm here to talk about some of the roles we play on student council. We are the role models at Barrington. Whenever somebody needs help, they ask us. We watch the force reports if arguments start and resolve the problem. We also help at the monthly lunch activities. Every Friday, we welcome the students into school and make them laugh with our silly dance moves and jokes. Thank you again for allowing me to speak with you tonight. Hi, my name is Christian Votano. Sorry. Hi, my name is Christian Votano. I'm Vice President of Student Council. I'm going to be talking about why Hurd Barrington is perfect for me. Hurd Barrington is perfect for me because there are fun assemblies that doesn't just teach us our character trait of the month. We get to be a part of the teaching. Next, Hurd Barrington is perfect for me because we have AR parties. AR parties are a celebration that is about a reading goal. If you pass that goal, then you get to do fun activities. Finally, Hurd Barrington is perfect for me because we celebrate attendance, including extra recess and pizza parties. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you this evening. as you see in your bottom right corner, there's Hayden helping out with the 4 square courts. Yay. And right above that, that's me doing it. No, it's amazing. And then right above that, it's Christian who is helping out with the lunch activities, which was that one was checkers. And then to the left of that is all of us welcoming in the students, dancing, and having fun.
Yeah.
To the top left, you can see that when the student
When the student body elected us as the student council.
and to the bottom left, you can see Gavin helping out other kids when they were doing their activity with Mr. Hernandez. And in the middle of all that, you could see Noel and Hayden helping kids with being bag toss, being bag toss and checkers. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, very good.
Item G, first interim reading by Ms. Mendoza.
While we're waiting for, there you go. This is going to be a report for the first quarter of this year. All the activity from July 1st to the end of October. So things that we look at updating from the time the budget's adopted to first interim are, we look at our one-time funding that we're still monitoring. We look at where we are with enrollment and attendance rates. We look at the STIRS contributions and the impact that those have on the reserve. And then we look at any changes to the LCFF calculation. So we look at how revenue can change from one budget period to the next. And you can see in each one, some of the revenue went down. The federal went down quite a bit because of where we ended up at the end of last year. We had to make some adjustments for this year. And a lot of that has to do with the one-time money. So our overall revenue is down about $2 million, but most of that is because of the federal. We also had a lower than anticipated unduplicated rate this year. So that's why you see the change in the LCFF calculation as well. So with the expenditures are also updated, and we updated, you'll see a big increase in the capital outlay, and that is for the Hunt restroom project. So we added that into the budget. We may be able to take that back out later. So where is the money coming from? The LCFF obviously is the main source, but then we have federal ongoing and one-time sources, and then we have some new categorical programs as well. The ELOP, which looks like it will be ongoing, and you'll see a lot of the hiring is tied to that funding, and a lot of the increases to the expenditures is because of that funding. Part of that had to be used. When we got ELOP 2 years ago, we had to make sure all of the first years was spent by this year. And so we've had to make sure that we're really expending all of it. You'll see that taper off over the next couple of years. We do also have the Learning Recovery Block Grant, which the state took back a portion of that. About $700,000 of that they reallocated to something else. And then the Arts Music Instructional Block Grant is a one-time fund, but the Prop 28 arts and music funding will be ongoing.
Is the cost for the art and music program equal? Is it about the same, or did it drop as far as how much money is getting?
It's about the same as what we expected.
Okay.
Okay, so we are planning, we did have to write plans for the additional funding. As you know, you've seen all of these plans, but pretty much anything new that comes along has a plan to go with it. And then we still have the two main LCAP goals with all the actions that are tied to them. We will be starting a new LCAP cycle probably in January. We'll start scheduling those meetings to make sure that we are meeting those goals and addressing them mid-year. So as part of the first interim is a multi-year projection. And we look at not only this current year, but the next year. We always are looking at what happened last year, what happens this year, and then what happens 2 years going out. Our enrollment is declining a little bit. I'm not counting anything from the new homes because we haven't seen any of that yet. It would be premature to include those into the projections at this time. The 72% unduplicated is down a little bit. And so then that rolls forward the next 2 years because they do a 3-year rolling average. This year, the state is looking at an 8.2% COLA, but our real increase in funding over last year is only about 5%. And that's due to lower enrollment and also the lower unduplicated rate. So when we start talking about negotiating, we'll talk about dollars, not necessarily percentages. For next year, the COLA is estimated to be about 1%, and that's down from about 5% because of the tax revenues. There's about a $25 billion shortfall, and they're going to take some of it back from last year's allocation and some of it back this year's allocation. So I just read another article a few minutes ago about how the state's going to account for all of this, and they're going to raid the rainy day funds. So we'll see how far that gets us, but I think they're going to exhaust the rainy day fund in this fiscal year. And then the following year, the enrollment is trending down. We have a couple of larger classes that are exiting, so we are going to have to really look at our FTEs. We are doing a couple of takebacks next year on a couple of special ed programs, so we are going to have to look at staffing across the board. So you can see where the projected increase in funding over 23-24 is a negative. So the reserve cap was triggered. I have a feeling they're going to take that off because of they're not going to make a contribution to the rainy day fund this year. But we still have it in action. So our pension projections, STRS has leveled off at a little over 19% from 8.25%. So it's effectively more than doubled. But the change in PERS has gone from 11% to 26, almost 27%. So an additional $158,000 per $1 million of classified salary goes to PERS. So, and PERS doesn't have a cap in statute. So every year it is projected to increase. So here's an example of how the attendance rate impacts the funding. So if every student came to school every single day all year, we would receive $14,093 per student. You can see how the math works, that it's really, we're looking at 95%, which is great because last year we were only funded at 90%. The state is still doing a 3-year average of what's better, what's higher. So we do have that hold harmless, but it's still trending down because our average keeps dropping. But you can see we're looking at about 94% this year, which is much better than it was last year. So things that we also have to consider when we're doing projections for the out years is universal TK and how many students that will add. We didn't add quite as many as we thought we would add this year. We have our autism program at Hunt, and we have some other special education takebacks. We will be adding a 3-5 and a 6-8 Montsevere, and then possibly in the adult program. we have the new development, but we're not counting any of those students as of yet. But our attendance rate is strong, so that's encouraging.
May I ask a question about that? When does the builder say that they're gonna start selling those houses? And I know there's a small.
They haven't said there is a development, then there's quite a few houses that have gone up, and I'm not sure how many have sold.
Okay,
But, so I would think that they're constructing them prior to going into contract, which I thought was interesting.
Mhm.
Because SCM does it the opposite. They get a contract and then they build it. So they must be fairly optimistic that they can sell them. So I'm thinking we probably will start to see students for the next school year, if not by March, because some of those homes aren't ready. So,
and I know we had somebody come talk to us a few months ago, and I can't remember how many students they estimate, but there's a certain.
I want to say about 40, I think is what we're looking at district wide.
Okay.
So. I lost my train of thought.
All right.
We were looking. We check the enrollment. I check it about once a week just to kind of see where we are. And so as we start seeing those students, if we start picking those up, we'll see them by second interim.
Okay.
We'll make the adjustments going forward. So, and this is the timeline. We are in December, so we're doing the first interim. We'll hear the January budget from the governor next month and start the LCAP process and then we'll have the second interim in March. So things that we think about when preparing for negotiations, we have declining enrollment in all 3 years. The cost of living for next year is only projected to be about 1%. And then step and column this year was 1.6%. So just everybody showing back up next year costs us 1.6%, not including any increases to retirement. And then we have had an increase in FTEs over the past 3 years, and like everyone else, our costs are going up. So we have to take a lot of things into consideration for next year. So we do have, Governor Newsom is a big fan of categorical programs where Governor Brown had gotten away from them. So there's a lot, anytime he had a surplus, he put it into a one-time program. So those are great infusions of cash, but when they're gone, they're gone. So it gets to be a little bit tricky. But we do have some things that are ongoing to balance them out. But we will be using most of the ESSER remaining funds by the end of this fiscal year. I'm happy to answer any questions.
When do we think the governor will release the January budget?
It's usually it's mid-January. I'm going up to Sacramento probably around the 18th.
Okay.
So
maybe
we
before
may
next
know
quarter.
something. Yeah, I'm hoping to hear something and be able to do a summary for the January board meeting because it is so late in the month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Right, the next section will be the consent calendar, but this will be a good time for anyone that would like to take off for the night, or the stuff's pretty dry. So if you got homework to do and chores to do at home, you guys are more than welcome to take off.
Or not.
Or you can stay. Yes, ma'am.
Talk about the projection for the new housing being included in the budget for. So was that included or was that not included?
No, we never included.
Never included, okay, because I know in future meetings it said it was gonna be included and projected and having the.
We don't project any growth until we actually start to see it.
Okay.
All right, consent calendar items are routine in nature, usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by board members and presented for discussion and separate action. Consent calendar will be adopted by a roll call vote. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll second that.
Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and myself, passes 5-0. All right, action items, approve, item A is approve first interim budget. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Passes 5-0. Public hearing of the CSEA Newman Crozani 551 initial contract proposal to Newman Crozani School District for the 23-25 or 23-24 school year. I declare the public hearing open at what's the time? That's 37? 18:37. And it's closed. Anybody want to speak? All right. Item C, consider acceptance of CSEA Newman Crozani 551 initial contract proposal to the Newman Crozani Unified School District for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion for that?
No motion.
Thank you, Frank. Second?
Well, let me just ask about that. This is just the initial proposal that says we'd like to accept these.
It was in the backup packet.
All right, I'll second it.
Thanks, Tim. Mr. Rizar,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and myself, vote aye. Motion 5-0. Public hearing on Newman Crozani Unified School District Sunshine proposal to CSEA for the 23-24 school year. I declare the public hearing open at 18:38. Anybody would like to address the board on the public hearing? Please go to say so now. No, it's closed. Consider acceptance Newman Crozani Unified School District Sunshine proposal CSEA for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion?
I'm open.
Second,
I second.
thank you, Janice. Mr. Rizar,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Ms. Rivas.
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well, 5-0. Public hearing of NCLTA Sunshine Proposal, Newman Crozani School District for the 23-24 employment year. I declare the public hearing open at. Anybody like to speak on public hearing for Sunshine Proposal? All right, it's closed. Consider acceptance of NCLTA Sunshine Proposal, Newman Crozani School District for the 23-24 employment year. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Frank. Second,
I'll second it.
thank you, Tim. Mr. Rizar,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Ms. Rivas,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Motion passes 5-0. Public hearing of the Newman Crozani School District Proposal NCLTA 23-24 school year. Declare the public hearing open at 18:40. Anybody would like to address the public hearing? All right, close. I consider acceptance of Newman Crozani School District Sunshine Proposal to NCLTA for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Frank. Can I get a second?
I second.
Thank you, Janice. Mr. Rizar,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. 5-0. Accept the developer fee annual report. Ms. Mendoza, do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She had to leave, but this is an annual report that comes out that basically just reports what we're getting from developers. And you'll see it's just kind of like a balance sheet of reporting. So nothing real new there. I'd recommend that you go ahead and accept it.
All right, thank you, sir. Can I get a motion for item J, accept developer fee annual report?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
So 40,
Aye.
and myself, aye as well, 5-0. Approve Von Renner Elementary construction change order number 2 in the amount of $1,272.19.
And 19. Oh, but you said 19, sorry.
Where's Matt? Is Matt
These
here?
are my-
Matt,
these
would you like to speak, Matt?
Yeah,
What did they change?
not much.
Handrails for the, to go up the stage, the ADA ramp. He spec'd the rails, but did not spec the support posts that those rails mount to. So rather than sacrifice and having the rails mount to the walls, to the drywall, because remember, we have aluminum galvanized framing combination. And so the contractor gave us a quote to install 2 4x4 support beams into the concrete when they poured the concrete. So this cost is just the cost for those 2 beams to be poured as backer support for those rails.
Thanks, sir.
I make a motion to accept the approved Von Renner Elementary construction change order number 2 in the amount of $1,272.19.
Thank you, Rose.
Mhm.
Jana, second.
Yeah.
Mr. Bizarre.
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Ms. Conforti.
Aye.
And I will, aye as well, 5-0. Approve board authorized agents, president, which would be myself, clerk, which is Mr. Rivas, and Ms. Bencourt as signers. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Oh. Guess I can write that on here. And Mr. Philpott. Can I get a motion?
I make so moved. I second.
All right. Mr. Bizarre.
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Ms. Conforti.
Aye.
And myself, aye, 5-0. All right. Future agenda items, nothing listed. Superintendent's report, Mr. Philpott, you want to take us up to speed?
Well, I just like to say that, probably about 10 years ago, I came on as superintendent. Janice Conforti was the board president. So 10 years, and then off and on during that time, Mrs. Hurst was the clerk. I just want to say thank you for your service to the district. So I also want to just say too that I will reach out to Mr. Holland regarding the 2+2. So we hopefully get that going again. And also just remind everybody, probably don't need a reminder of this, but we're almost halfway there. And I know that everybody's ready for a break. And it's not too many days before we get there and stuff. And so I wish you happy holidays and look forward to seeing you in January.
Thanks, sir. Going on to item 15, board reports. Mr. Bizarre, do you have anything for us tonight?
Well, I just say, I think we all know that emotions are running strong as far as the superintendent search is concerned. I would just say to the public and to everybody here in the room, I think the board is working conscientiously to make the right decision. And as soon as it's possible to announce that decision and make the decision, we'll do it.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Hurst, do you have anything tonight?
Well, I'd just like to wish everyone a happy holiday. Rest, relax, and stay healthy and safe.
Mr. Rivas?
Happy holidays to everybody, and I can't wait to see everyone's winter performance, Christmas, each school. That's something I like to see, especially on social media. Everyone posted their videos and the kids enjoy it. I know you teachers, parents love it. And seeing these kids up here speak, they spoke really well. When I was their age, that's why we're here, for seeing kids like that, speak like that. That was great. So have a great vacation. See you guys in January.
Ms. Conforti?
Thank you for letting me share in this job, and also this is how democracy works. You work within the system. Thank you. And happy holidays.
Yeah, and just my little, couple things is, yeah, on the superintendent search, it affects everybody. We paid a company that's probably best on the West Coast and doing what they do, and a lot of stuff to unfold and stuff like that. So, I know everybody wants to hear the decision that's been made and, stuff like that, but we are doing our part. A lot of time and effort and hours been put into all this process, and it's very lengthy. So, it's coming. We just have to be diligent on what we do and make sure we make the right decision for the community and all of our school district and all of our kids. That's the most important part, right? And then as far as, like everybody else said, have a good holidays, be safe, have fun New Year's. Celebrate with your family and friends and be safe, and most of you guys will see you next year. That's all I have. All right, meeting adjourned.
Motion.
Oh, can we get a motion to meeting adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion for.
Second? All right. Meeting adjourned at 6:46.
Yeah.